everyone. So today I have 3 DIYs for you. One of them is mostly how to do like a faux shiplap look, how to paint it anyways. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you do, definitely give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel before you guys leave. If you want to see all the other things that I make, definitely check out my Instagram. I'll link it down below so that you guys can check that out. If you guys are new here, hello, my name is Liz. I used to have a beauty channel, but now I have a home decor channel. Just so you know what I'm doing, because I know my feed looks a little crazy right now. So if you are into home decor, definitely stick around. If you are more into beauty, check out my other beauty videos. I have a ton of them. And without further ado, let's jump on into the video. Alright, so for this first project, I have this little sign that I got from the dollar store, and then some scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. I just get it when it's on sale for like 25 cents. And I'm just going ahead and taking this little gather part off of the sign and tracing around the paper with the sign. So you could have taken the back off of this sign and just glued it back together. That may have worked a little bit better, but I didn't want to deal with taking it apart and then trying to glue it back in and all of that stuff. So I just went through and cut it down to try to fit inside it. Took forever and it didn't turn out exactly, great. I got a little overzealous a little bit and cut some of it too short. So I had to use some scrap pieces within it as well. You can't tell once it's done, but I would just say take your time so that you can make sure that your paper is, the exact size of the frames. You can see here, too short, but I just put a little bit of piece of the scrap behind it so that you couldn't really tell, honestly. After I did that, I just used some Mod Podge and Mod Podged it down. Mod Podged it? Is that a word? I don't know. So you can see I just put some right there. I put the little scraps in there first, and then I went in with the bigger piece of paper on top of those so that it just kind of blended in basically. And I just spread that all over the back of the sign and placed the piece of paper on top of it using my brush to basically smooth it down, get the edges. I wanted to make sure that the edges would stay down. So yeah. Pretty simple, pretty easy. And also, if this does not sound very well, you can blame my 2-year-old who decided to steal the little foam piece off of my microphone. The joys of having kids. They take everything apart. So I will be searching for that for my next video. So I just added a little bit of Mod Podge on top, like I said, focusing on the corners, mostly in the edges, just to make sure that those really stick down. And then I just lightly brushed over the entire thing. So I just made this little vinyl decal with my Cricut. It'll be linked down below to my Instagram page if you're interested in it. So I just placed it in the little box, in the little sign, whatever you want to call it, and smoothed it down. I did have the backing over the family part because I didn't like the way that was positioned. So when I pull up the transfer paper, that family part won't be stuck down there, just so that I can put it where I wanted it. When I was making it, I just got it a little uneven and I couldn't fix it the way I wanted to. So I did it this way. It was a little complicated, but I think in the end it turned out pretty cute. So you can see I'm just placing the little phrase in between or in the middle of the sign, and I just smooth it all down and then peel it up. Sometimes the small letters can be a little bit difficult to get on there, but you just kind of have to keep working it, keep pressing down. You can use your finger like I did here. In a second you'll see it just, little letters don't want to stick down all the time. So then I'm just taking these little wooden beads that I got from Amazon. I'll have those linked down below. And I took a piece of wire and twine. I taped the end together so that I could run these through the holes. And I just put them all on there, and then I end up taking the wire and twisting it into a little circle and using the string, the jute, the twine, whatever you want to call it, around it, and tying several knots around it just so that that can be used to glue down to the frame itself. So I just did this on both ends. I really need to invest in a pair of needle nose pliers. That would make my life a lot easier. It's probably what I should have used, but I don't know where any are. So like I said, I just take it and twist it into a little circle. You can see I'm doing it with some random thing that was my husband's. And then I just tie the twine around it, making a couple knots. And then I'm going to go in and take my hot glue gun and just glue it to the top of the frame. Super easy. And I like that I can move the beads around. The wire gives it the stability to stay up like that. And then the jute is the twine, whatever, is able to have the knots at the end so that it looks cute and it's not just a bunch of, wires sticking out of the bottom. So I thought this turned out super cute. So for my next project, I got this hoop from either Joann's or Michael's. I can't remember. They both have them. And then I had my husband just break it apart, just where it was welded together. I think he just bent it back and forth until it came apart. And again, some more of these wooden beads from Amazon. They'll be linked down below. These are a bit larger than the last ones that I used. And then I'm going to take my little skewers and I'm going to put the beads on the skewers. It just makes it so much easier to paint, less messy, and yeah, that's just how we like to do it. Although these holes were way bigger than the skewers themselves, it was a little difficult. So then I took this paint. It's the Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in Parisian gray. Why I can't say that word, I don't know. But there you go. So I just went through and painted all of the beads in that color and did a little touch-ups once I took them off the beads just to make sure I got them all covered. And then I went through and stringed them onto the ring itself. Once I have all the beads on there, I'm going to take my hot glue and glue the ends together. I just hold it there for a couple seconds. Then I put a little bit more glue over it and I put a bead over that, the break, I'm going to call it. And so that it wouldn't come apart, and the bead just gave it a little bit more stability. And because I didn't want the gold to show, I'm going to take this twine and tie it onto the ring itself, and then I just go through and wrap it around it. So I take some hot glue, wrap some twine over it, take some hot glue, wrap the twine over it, just over and over and over again until I get to the other side of where the beads were. Like I said, I didn't want the gold to show through, and then I also wanted the beads to stay in place. So this definitely helped them stay where I wanted them to be instead of having to use a whole bunch of hot glue to keep the beads in place. The twine worked perfect for this. So I just go ahead, tie a couple more knots at the end. You won't even see them because the greenery will cover them up. So after that, I take some flowers that I got from the Dollar Tree. So, but all the flowers are from the Dollar Tree. There were these little white flowers that I'm showing in here that I don't end up using. But I thought these ones were super cute, and then those ones I don't even end up using them. So there you go. I thought I was going to use them. I didn't. But those flowers I got from the Dollar Tree, I thought they were so pretty. And then I'm just using some random greenery that I have, mostly from arrangements that I basically tore apart. So I start off by kind of placing them where I want them, just to kind of see how I want to place it, basically. And then I go through and start gluing things down and tying them together. The one kind of hard part with this is that since this isn't one of those thicker wood wreaths, you kind of have to work with what you got. So I had some floral wire. I went through and wrapped some pieces around to get my greenery to stay a little bit better than just using globs of hot glue. And then I just bent it around the back and press it down so it didn't, scuff up any of my doors or walls or anything like that. So with the flowers, I just took the stems and wrapped them around the wreath itself and then put some hot glue on the back. I just, like I said, with it not being a wreath where you can actually put the stems into the wreath, you just kind of have to wrap it around. So that's what I did, at least. If you have a better idea, definitely let me know. But this seemed to work pretty well for how I wanted it to look. Just take the stems, wrap them around, and then hot glue them on the back. So I think I used about 5 flowers, I want to say. At first I was going for, I don't know, the look that I'm doing right now, but my flowers got a little bit scrunched up, which didn't bother me. I actually really like the way it turned out, but if you want it to not be as scrunchy, I guess just put less flowers on and, space them out a little bit better. So here I am just putting some more greenery on with some wire, and then I go ahead and put some more lamb's ear and that other greenery, whatever that is called, together, and I put it on the other end. So to cover up a little bit of a gap that I have between the greenery and the flowers, I'm taking this burlap ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna make a bow with it. So basically I just take it and fold it twice, cut off the end, then I take another piece, just one, single strip, and put it on the back. I take some twine and I wrap it around the bow, making sure to get it in the center, and I do end up wrapping the twine around the middle of the bow several times just to give it a little bit thicker of a middle. And then I basically just glue it on. I ducktail the ends, and that's really about it. I thought this turned out super cute. I kind of was at the beginning going to have all the beads just, at the top, and then I tilted it to the side a little bit and thought it was so much cuter. So I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. Everybody's been loving the beads lately, and I am obsessed with them. I have a whole pack of them in my little craft storage spot, and I'm probably gonna have to buy some more big ones because I absolutely love the huge beads. So again, this piece is probably my favorite throughout all of them. I love it. So this next project are these little boxes that my husband made, and I think he did a super fantastic job on them. And it's to hold disposable cups for gatherings, and then it has a little hole for a Sharpie marker. We make a little decal to put on it. The main thing that I wanted to show you guys with this is how I painted it, because I absolutely love the way that this piece turned out. So I'm just painting the entire box white. It's just the folk art chalk paint in white. Just paint the entire thing white, and then through coats, between coats, I go through and sand it just to make sure that it's smooth and it doesn't have any lumps or bumps or anything like that. So now I'm taking a black paint pen that I have, and I am drawing lines on it to make it look like faux shiplap. I basically just measured out, I cut each one into 3s or measured them out into 3 sections and then drew the line from there. So I made sure that each line was connected on each side on the corners, if that makes sense. So then they're not, different on different spots on the box, if that makes any sense at all. So after I did this, I took my black paint pen again, and I just went through on the nail holes and just made them black as well. And then I'm taking more of that white paint and just kind of dry brushing a little bit over the black. I didn't want the black super pigmented. I kind of wanted it faded. So I'm just going through and adding a little bit of white over those black lines, again, just to give it that faded look. And then after I'm done with this, I do go in again and sand it down. So I'm taking the Waverly chalk paint in mineral, and I'm brushing it over each of the black lines that I did. This might seem a little bit repetitive, but I feel like by doing layers, it looks the best. That's just my opinion, but that's just how I like doing things. I feel like layering just makes it look a whole lot better. So I just go through on all the sides and do that. And now I'm just dry brushing and distressing. So I start by doing a little bit at a time. I want to be light-handed and then work my way up. So I'm just taking a little bit of paint, dabbing it onto the paper, and then just brushing it on the edges. I wanted the middle of the boxes on each side to be the most white and the sides to be the most distressed. So I kind of, I don't know, you can see what I'm doing. I just distress the sides the majority of the time, leaving the middle white. And then I go through and get all the edges on all the sides and all the corners and the top and the bottom, basically everywhere. I even go inside the box and distress inside of it on all the corners in there, and I just wanted it to make it, if I can talk, to make it look worn and used and like it was an older piece of wood. So that's basically what I do. I just distress the whole thing, and then I also go through and distress the top of it, and after I'm done distressing, I go through with my sandpaper again and basically go over anywhere that looks like there's too much paint so that it looks a little bit more faded and not like I just slapped a whole bunch of paint on there. So you can kind of see right here where I go through and distress inside of it, just getting those ends and leaving the middle alone. And that's about it. It was super easy, really, really cute and fun to do, and I loved the way this one turned out. So here is the little decal I made for it, and I'm just putting it right on top. And that's it for these projects, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed them. If you like them or you want to recreate them, let me know. Tag me on Instagram. I'll have my info in the description box below. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time. Bye.